One of the weird aspects of 21st century America, particularly in the age of Donald Trump, is how people on the left and the right define themselves by Donald Trump. So, as I'm talking to you right now, Donald Trump and the Saudi crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, are in the White House, in the Oval Office. They're talking with reporters. They're talking with Marco Rubio was just talking a minute ago. And if you're on the right, you tend to like Mohammed bin Salman because he's on Donald Trump's side. If you're on the left, you hate him. There's the Khashoggi killing. There's Joe Biden who hated him. In fact, Joe Biden deteriorated, objectively so. This isn't partisan spin. This is just truth. Joe Biden deteriorated our relationship so much with the Saudis that the Saudis started building bridges with China and started selling oil to China that they otherwise had not been selling to China. And Joe Biden was working towards getting the Saudi Arabians and the Chinese into a relationship together, positively for both countries and detrimental to our interests. People are defining themselves in this country by their relationship to Donald Trump. They are for something if he's against it. They're against something if he's for it. And that gets us to illegal immigration. I want to read you this Bill Melugin post from Fox News on Twitter. Department of Homeland Security confirms to Fox News that ICE has arrested an Uzbeki illegal alien, wanted alleged terrorist, who was driving an 18-wheeler in Kansas and had been given a CDL by the state of Pennsylvania. 31-year-old Akror Bozarov had been on an arrest warrant in Uzbekistan since 2022 for being a member of a terrorist organization and is accused of distributing terrorist propaganda, calling for jihad online, and recruiting terrorists. Per the Department of Homeland Security, he was caught and released at the border by the Biden administration in February of 2023. ICE arrested him on November 9th while he was working as a commercial truck driver. He was granted work authorization by the Biden administration in January 2024 and had a commercial driver's license issued by the state of Pennsylvania. DHS statement on Fox, quote, not only was Akror Bozarov a wanted terrorist released into the country by the Biden administration, but he was also given a commercial driver's license by Governor Shapiro's Pennsylvania. This should go without saying, but terrorist illegal aliens should not be operating 18-wheelers on America's highways. Biden and Mayorkas allowed countless terrorists to come into our country. President Trump and Secretary Noem unleashed ICE to target these national security threats. Democrats, why do you think this is a good idea? And if you don't think it's a good idea, if you're willing to say it's a bad idea, why didn't you say so back then? When you're circling your wagon around your own tribe, both sides do it, oftentimes wrong. You wind up in places like this. A man who's a member of a terrorist organization and an illegal alien has been driving an 18-wheeler in the United States of America. We had the illegal alien who killed people in a wreck down in Florida who had a CDL from California, who couldn't speak English, barely knew how to drive, but was given a commercial license. Why do any of you think this is a good idea? And right now, by the way, I think there are the overwhelming number of those people saying, no, we never thought it was a good idea. Well, why did you let it happen? Why did you enable it happen? I didn't know. You saw all the people coming across the border, and you were really dismissive of the concerns of those of us saying terrorists could get in. And I wasn't even talking about the known releases, but the unknown gotaways, the people who got away from federal authorities. For every 10 people or 20 people who cross the border, one person was able to get across the border undetected. How many of them are here and how many of them are illegal aliens? Well, they're all illegal aliens. How many are terrorists? Here's one who we knew was on a terror list. The Biden administration allowed to wander freely in the country. The state of Pennsylvania gave a driver's license to for commercial driving. That just kind of blows my mind that this was allowed. We knew it was going on, and so many people denied it. And so here's my thing. In all honesty, here's my thing. You Democrats, you understand you still have a lot to account for. My problem with the Republicans is so many Republicans right now are sounding a little bit like the Democrats, denying there's an economic problem in the country. But you Democrats, you did cause inflation. You said it was first no big deal, then you said it was transitory, and it wasn't. And then you said illegal immigration was no big deal. And it turns out not only was it a big deal, it overwhelmed the border, but we were allowing terrorists in as illegal aliens and giving them driver's licenses to drive commercial trucks. Good thing he didn't fill it up with explosives. And yet, so many Democrats wanted to defend it now and now won't come out and say we were wrong. Can I just it's the lack of accountability is what I'm getting at, I guess. It's the lack of accountability. It's the lack of apology. It's the lack of an acknowledgement that it was the wrong idea, because right now your position is that what Donald Trump is doing is too aggressive. And, I'm in this weird position where I agree with Donald Trump and I agree with the Pope. The Catholic bishops have come out and criticized all the deportations. And in my view is deport all of them. Just don't be cruel. There's no reason to be cruel. There's no reason to send a group of people from Honduras to Uganda. Don't be cruel about the deportations. Just deport them. Don't round up citizens and legal aliens and make them fight for their right to be here. The default should be the presumption. ICE, by the way, you should know, is actually really good at their job. It's Border Patrol that tends to be the one that rounds up the people who shouldn't be rounded up. And ICE gets the blame because they're so prominent. It's not ICE, it's Border Patrol causing these problems. Don't be cruel, Mr. President, when you deport the people. Just deport them. And you Democrats, you're so upset about how the deportations are happening. The reason it's happening is because of the policies you implemented, and none of you are willing to admit your policies were crazy. Your policies allowed a terrorist into the country as an illegal alien who got a commercial driver's license and was driving an 18-wheeler. Deport them, but don't be cruel. I disagree with the Pope and the Catholics on the deportations. I do think, however, the Republicans are going to have hell to pay from some Hispanic voters, because it's not just the gangbangers, the criminals, the terrorists who are and the recent illegals. It's the people who've been here for 20, 30 years, and there is backlash in the Hispanic community. You can deny it all you want, but it's real. It shows up in the polling. It showed up in the vote and in the exit polling from these off-year elections. But I think the Democrats would be wrong to think that it's going to be a massive backlash. There's going to be some, not a lot, because some of these communities are safer because of who's been deported. I look at these policies, though, and I think, Democrats, are you ever going to acknowledge that you went through an insane period? It's like on transgenderism. It clearly is a social contagion because it's collapsing among younger demographics. They are absolutely rejecting trans ideology and transgenderism. And yet so many Democratic politicians stand up to this day, like they use the word Latinx and they believe that boys can become girls. And are they ever going to be able to acknowledge, yeah, I went through that crazy phase? Some people go through weird phases in life and they get out and they're like, yeah, that was an awkward phase I went through in life. Are the Democrats ever going to be able to acknowledge that they went through that awkward phase? They went through that, let the illegal aliens in and let boys cut off their body parts and become girls phase. That it's kind of a weird, odd phase that people are transitioning out of right now, no pun intended. And the Democrats, they just kind of don't want to make eye contact about. They've been insane with these policies for a while, so much of it driven by their hatred of Donald Trump, and that's it. They defined public policy and ruined the country solely because they hate Donald Trump. Can they at least acknowledge that?